Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast and another live match preview ahead of a much changed Chelsea side for this Southampton game. Midweek Premier League, man. Is there anything better than finishing work at 5:30 and going home to a game, man? We are getting Chelsea. We are getting Manchester United, Arsenal. We are getting Liverpool, Newcastle tonight. But of course, there's only one game we're going to be talking about here. One game we're going to be focusing on. And as I said, it is a much changed Chelsea side. Charms, I can't speak for you, bro, but seeing that team, 8 changes if I'm not mistaken. I know we got Spurs on Sunday, bro, but I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no, expecting it for sure not. I mean, this is the side that we've been playing in Europe pretty much, other than a couple of stalwart players who've always in the league. Cole Palmer, you can't take him out of a league game. And obviously with the Caicedo, Enzo, I like it, man. I really like the squad that we're fielding today. It shows a lot of faith in the squad overall. I mean, we spoke about it time in and time again about the benefits that we have having such a team with such depth and the way that we've utilised them. So, with this game against Southampton being a little bit more of an easier game, it's good to get the guys that play the European fixtures, the lighter, the easier fixtures in a league game. It's definitely going to change up the mentality. This is a game that needs to be taken a bit more seriously than a Heidenheim or an Astana or someone like a Panathinaikos. So, yeah, man, it's good to see Joao Felix, Christopher Nkunku, those players who have been deadly going forward, playing in the league. I think that they're going to have a lot to say today.
100%, man. We'll run through the team very, very quickly. And starting at the back, arguably the biggest surprise of all, Philip Jorgensen gets his first Premier League start, gets the nod ahead of Robert Sanchez. Whether he's been dropped, whether he's being rested, I don't know, but seems interesting to me to rest the goalkeeper, particularly after he had, I'd say, his best game of the season against Aston Villa. There's not been a game this season I haven't said drop Sanchez, bring Jorgensen in. But after the weekend against Villa, I think that's probably the closest you could argue to Robert Sanchez doing enough to keep his spot. So interesting. But Jorgensen comes in for his first Premier League start. And the back four is as follows from left to right. Marc Cucurella at left back, Tosin Adarabioyo and Axel Disasi in centre back, with Malo Gusto returning at right back, Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo doing that double pivot role in midfield, with Joao Felix and Madueke lining up either side of Cole Palmer. And leading the line is Christopher Nkunku. Now, I've just had a 20-second voice note from my boy saying, why the fuck isn't Jackson starting? I've just put him in my fantasy team. Before anybody says, oh my God, he's been dropped. He's one yellow card away from suspension. And is there a player you want to play Tottenham more on Sunday than Nicholas Jackson? Because his runs in behind, I said on the TikTok live a minute ago, he would be the first name. Forget Cole Palmer and Caicedo. He'd be the first name on my team sheet for Sunday. But Charms, just talk us through that first 11. Obviously, massive changes. Starting at the back, how do you feel about that Jorgensen? Obviously, a keeper that we've been pushing to start for a while, but just seems kind of, great opportunity for him against Southampton, but does seem kind of strange timing.
Yeah, I think the timing is something that is a little bit curious about that situation. But once again, we said it over the last couple of streams. I think Maresca understands the task at hand with managing all the players and the minutes and rotation. So if there is ever a time you're going to give Philip Jorgensen an opportunity to perform in the Premier League, I think Southampton, off the back of a really good performance in Europe just under a week ago, I think that he's earned his right for that. It is funny because the first time Sanchez puts in a performance where he got a clean sheet at home, and we can really be like, okay, he had a good game. He's dropped for the next game in the league, but obviously, with Spurs being around the corner, it is the bigger of the two games. So I can imagine if Maresca is to favour Sanchez, then there is a moment to give Jorgensen a game. At the same time, rest your goalkeeper, who has been playing week in, week out in the league. So I think that it covers all bases. And I can imagine this is going to be another good game for Jorgensen. I can imagine he'll leave here with a clean sheet, which will be really good for him. And, the back line, I have similar sentiments about. I think that resting Colwill is probably a good thing. He can get a little bit more leggy and tired in games where he plays back to back. And, he didn't play the last game we had played, but he has been playing an awful lot. So, coming off the back of what a game on Sunday, today's Wednesday, Colwill was involved on Sunday, actually. Am I wrong?
No, he started.
Yeah. So being involved 3 days ago, it's a good thing to give him a rest and then get him back in there for Spurs when we need to get, the bulk of our stronger team back in. So, I like him having a rest. It also gives Tosin a good opportunity to go in there and, start a game, really show the Tosin Adebayo that we haven't really seen. I mean, we've seen him in glimpses, but we haven't seen that one Tosin performance. We're like, okay, he's here as our centre back. So I really like that for him. And then back to regularity with Malo Gusto at right back rather than playing Badiashile out of position or Caicedo out of position. So I like that. I think that overall, very strong team. Cucurella off the back of a great performance. So him holding down left back doesn't surprise me over Vega. I'm really happy with this team.
Nice. And with those, just on those centre backs, because when I was kind of thinking about a predicted team today, I mean, I didn't put it out anywhere, but I thought Tosin would start being kind of a right-footed centre back on that right side next to Levi Colwill. Obviously, we haven't seen, no Levi Colwill, also no Badiashile. Does this mean with Wesley Fofana? I mean, I would have thought that Wes Fofana being out would mean that Tosin Adebayo goes straight in on that right side alongside Levi Colwill. As much as I've been kind of an advocate for two left-footed centre-backs, I don't think Maresca really likes it. But it does potentially look like, with Badiashile being rested tonight, we may play a different formation at the back against Tottenham. We've seen him tweak. Last week played a 3-3-3-1. I can kind of seeing us maybe do that 3 with 2 wing-backs this weekend against Tottenham. In terms of our centre-backs, and obviously with Wes Fofana out for, we'll call it what it is, the rest of the year. He's going to be out for the next 7-8 games until the end of 2024 at least. Who do you see being closest as stepping into his position? And I suppose out of those 3, Badiashile, Tosin, Disasi, how would you rank them?
It's difficult, right? Because I think that Badiashile's the one that has the most head scratches because he's put in the best performances out of the 3, I would say, but far and away, without question, he's put in the worst performances out of the 3 of them. I think that Tosin is the one that's a little bit, there's still question marks there. We've seen him in that sort of fleeting moments of ability. I think that he's pretty 7 out of 10 on his day so far. But I do see a really good centre-back in Tosin Adebayo. I really do. I think that he can be someone that can go in there and really compete. So at the minute, it's difficult because Disasi I really like as well. He's a player that I've got a lot of love for. I think that he plays well at moments. He's sort of like a B-Tech Badiashile, if you will. You get a lot of good performances from him. You do get a couple of stinkers every now and then. But I think that the positives outweigh the negatives with Disasi. So I would probably rank them. Realistically, it's probably Disasi is the better of the 3, with Badiashile being down the bottom of the pack. But I would probably trust Tosin to be the one that I would use it as a replacement, just based on the fact that I think that there's the highest potential for him. I really do believe that, and I think that with form and with confidence and with a lot of minutes, I think that we can get a lot of good stuff out of Tosin and a lot more clean sheets than I can see with Axel Disasi, who's got mistakes all over him. He can turn around and hoof it in his own net, and we've seen him do just that. Badiashile, the same thing. We've seen him turn around and play back passes to keepers 20 metres away from where they are a couple of times, you know what I mean? So Tosin is probably the least mistake prone right now, and out of the bunch of them, I'd probably want the least mistake prone, so I'd probably take Tosin if I had my choice.
If you had to rank the 3, you go Tosin, Disasi, Badiashile.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I and this is of no disrespect to Disasi, but I'd go probably Tosin, Badiashile, Disasi. But that was all anybody was saying on my TikTok live. What do you think about Disaster starting, and what do you think about? I don't know what a lot of these Chelsea players have been watching. Yes, he has dropped some poor games, but stinkers, 1 or 2, and more often than not, they've been when he's been playing out of position. This is a centre back, an out and out centre back that's being asked to play right centre back, right wing back. That's more often than not when he's struggled. But even then, we've both come on here and gone, he looks like an absolute brick shithouse. He can bombard down the line. It's not a bad thing to have a centre-back playing who can play right-back, who can run through a brick wall and put a ball in the box. And I think ball carrying, Disasi showed it. What was it, against Noah, where he carried the ball kind of 60 yards, laid it off to Mykhailo Mudryk or someone, and they put it top bins. He's shown us that he's more than good enough to be able to fill in where we need. Mm-hmm. And again, it's like you said first thing on the video, it's a testament to our strength in depth. This is a £45 million player that we bought in from Monaco. Same as Badiashile. Badiashile might have been 30 to 40 mil, but these are both players that were playing in Europe at the top of, hear me out, at the top of League One. It is one of Europe's top leagues. They are good enough. It's not like he's come from the Championship, from League Two, from fucking Liga BBVA. Yeah. Like, these are guys that know what it takes, that have played there. And let's be, he's the most senior player in the team at the moment at 27, 28. I think personally, these centre-backs are given a lot of stick. And with, obviously January transfer window, less than a month away, do you feel like this Fofana injury is cause for us to go into the market and replace him? Or do you think that we've got enough in our squad right now?
So it's another really good question. It all comes down, in my opinion, to how much faith does Maresca have in Disasi and Badiashile, because they seem to be the two that they're kind of just always there. You know what I mean? Whenever you need them, and the others, they seem to be riddled with injuries. Particularly Colwill and Fofana, who is out right now with a hammy. So, I don't think we necessarily need to go out there and go and spend, another 30, 40 million on a centre-back, because we've just done that. I think that's kind of what we brought in Tosin for, was a little bit more depth as a centre-back, because we already had Badiashile and Disasi there, and they are that same profile, that mid 30 to 40 million pound, like potentially proven, kind of not proven centre-back who could do it, but they might not. And, there's too many of them. And do you want one more? Do you want another Badiashile in the club? Do you want another Disasi who needs to go get minutes? Do we want another player? And just to push back on like the whole, playing out a position situation I feel like there's a history at Chelsea of, we buy in centre-backs and then we end up playing them at right-back and they play there for a decade. We had it with Ivanovic. We buy a right-sided centre-back. He ends up playing right-back, does it for a decade. We buy in Azpilicueta to replace him as a right-sided centre-back, ends up playing a right-back for a decade. We buy Axel Disasi as a right-sided centre-back. If he ends up playing right-back for a decade, I'm not going to complain, because it seems to have worked in the past, And if we can get anywhere close to those Azpi performances from Disasi, from a, I'm trying to say anyone bar Caicedo, because he is the other one that does play right back, but obviously the natural position is completely different, being a six, and I don't want Caicedo playing in a right back, to be totally honest. But I don't mind it, and if we have to kind of shuffle the dice a little bit, then that's what we're going to have to do. And I think that overall the squad has got enough depth to blend in the holes that we have at the minute. I think the only question would be are we going to sell any centre-backs across the window? Because if we are going to get rid of one of them, then we definitely need to get in a replacement for the injuries, because they are bound to happen. But I don't know. I can't really see us selling either Disasi or Badiashile personally, and Tosin can't though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a case of you're not going to recoup what you spent, and they haven't really done enough to justify either being kept or either just chalking it up to a loss and go. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but it is very much a problem that we will, or not a problem, but a topic that we will discuss at length as we kind of get closer to the transfer window and do more transfer related content. But kind of getting back to the game at hand. So obviously Southampton, everybody that I've seen, everybody that I've heard, everybody that I've read has predicted the score. It's been a whitewash for Chelsea. It's been very, very clean sweep. So Southampton have not had a very good start back to life in the Premier League. It has been tough. And obviously it doesn't get much tougher than having your goal chalked off. And obviously drew to Brighton at the weekend. They've lost to Liverpool 3-2. Even when they're putting in good performances, they're still not getting results. And I won't lie, I have a bad feeling about tonight. I'm positive on the whole, but I do just have kind of a gut pang that this is the night where they go, you know what? They're disrespecting us by playing their second team. They've rested all their players for Tottenham. These are the boys that everyone's talking about being in the ascendancy. They've got an easy run up till Christmas. This is Southampton's chance to piss on our parade. Mm-hmm. And I don't see enough quality from Southampton to do it, but with Chelsea, even under Enzo Maresca, there are still moments, lapses of concentration. Now, how many times have we said, that win against Leicester could have easily been 2-2. We could have easily dropped points against lower teams this season. How are you feeling about tonight? Now, particularly the team is out. How are you feeling about tonight? How do you see it going? Who are you looking forward to seeing from this Chelsea side? And who do you think is going to perform?
Well, it's interesting because, the idea of Southampton potentially feeling disrespected about the team that we're fielding. I feel like, you got to look at the reverse side and how the team that we're fielding going to field themselves. We're thinking, all right, listen, this is our opportunity. We can show we're the A team. We can potentially go out there and prove
that this is a better group of players at Chelsea Football Club, and there's no one saying that it isn't. We got Palmer in the 10. He's their star player. He's now in our mix. And I'm sure Christopher Nkunku's thinking, you want to see a striker? I'll show you a fucking striker who can finish. And he's, when it comes to the technical dribbling, the beating a man one-on-one, Nkunku clears Jackson. So it's just coming down to the composure, the finishing, that striker that want to score, which we've seen so many times from Nicholas Jackson now, that hunger, that almost salivating to scoring, that aggressive, beating down a goalkeeper. Let's see what Nkunku can do, Who's he got? Who they got in goal? Joe Lumley? I mean, no wonder we're playing our B team, you know what I'm saying? I reckon this is an opportunity for us to counter the counter, where they're going to be pissed off. I can't see us letting them have their way. I look at their side, and, I'll put it like this, yeah? Ryan Fraser has got to get through Noni Madueke, then Caicedo, then Malo Gusto. I don't see that being a relatively good night for him. The form that those three players are in right now, like Madueke, hungry, he can track as well. We've seen him do that as well. He can get dirty. Their biggest threats is on the side of our biggest strength. So I think on paper this is going to be an absolute Chelsea wash. And I'm not saying that based on Chelsea fan, the obvious on paper, but like even when you're trying to find a problem. Who is it? Because it's not Joe Aribo. It's not Callum Archer. You know what I mean? It's not Cameron Archer. I don't see anyone who's going to be the one to provide difficulty against us in the form that.
I think that's the only one. The only one I think I could disagree with is Cameron Archer. I think he is a very good quality player, and I think particularly I think he'd cause Colwell and Fofana problems in the latter stages of the game, but I think with his tenacity. If him and Armstrong just hunt down Disasi, Badiashile. I know we like to bait the press, but these are the sort of teams that are able to combat that by just throwing sheer fucking brute force, will, tenacity. In these games, I do feel like more often than not, it is who wants it more. And you are bang on with what you said. A lot of these Chelsea players surely are thinking, this is my first Premier League start of the season. This is my chance to nail down my position. But conversely, they may be thinking, we're starting today, means we ain't starting against Tottenham on Sunday. I would argue there's certain players, João Felix, Madueke, who are in that conversation. But I think the back four is where it's going to be most important. But in terms of that front four, Palmer, Madueke, Felix, Nkunku. That front four starts for 18 out of 20 Premier League teams. So there is no doubt from either of us that Chelsea have enough quality to get it over the line tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I look at that front four, and I think that if that was the front four that we had established as our Premier League attacking side, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. That is a side that is a scary, ruthless, toothy side. Maybe, at the beginning of the season, I would have said, who's that Noni geezer? But he's proven himself week in, week out, since then. So I really like this look. I really like the look of this team against Southampton.
Yeah. Big game for Noni as well, particularly given that he's just been dropped. The fact he's playing tonight probably won't play against Sunday. I can see Sancho starting. I can see Neto starting. I can't see Enzo Maresca changing that up. Who do you think is... Who are you looking forward to seeing tonight? Who do you think is it's a big game for? And who, I suppose, who do you think is going to be the difference between the two sides tonight? Do you think it's going to be Nkunku? Do you think we're going to be relying on Palmer? Is Felix going to be able to pull it out of the bag?
So I look at our top goal scorer in all competitions, and I think that the one knock against him, Christopher Nkunku, is the fact that he hasn't been able to do it in the Premier League. That's because he hasn't had the opportunity to do it in the Premier League. And today is that day, Southampton are a side. If you look at every team in the Premier League, you might find an easier team to play, maybe Ipswich in this form right now, over a side like Southampton. But if there's a more drubbable team, a team who's willing to just fold and lose 7-0, you look in the league, Southampton's the only team which have had it happen on numerous occasions, you know what I'm saying? So if it gets 1, 2, 3 by the first half, I'm sure Nkunku's going to be thinking, listen, I could really batter my number higher, because no one knows how their goal contributions on this Chelsea side more than Christopher Nkunku. I'm sure he's got it written down his forearm with Sharpie. He knows he's trying to prove a point. Listen, I've backed 13 goals this season.
Don't say it. Like an Auschwitz tattoo. Don't say it.
Yeah, he does it in Roman numerals, just to avoid any comments. But Fucking yeah. I think that Nkunku is going to be the one that's going to be the talisman today. I can see him bagging. I can see him playing really well. You know, I did start Cole Palmer in my bet because I got cold feet on Nkunku. But yeah, I think that today's going to be his night, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of those members of the front three are left with a hat trick. To be totally honest, and my money would be on Nkunku if I had to pick out the bunch.
Yeah, agreed. I think he's got to bag tonight, and I think he's going to be hungry to do it. I think tonight is his stage. I can't see Jackson coming on because, you know, they do not want him to get that yellow card for the weekend. So Nkunku is most likely going to get 90 minutes tonight. Fingers crossed he can do that. And I've just seen, I didn't even realise as well that Southampton, you know, they might be in miserable form. They've also got Harwood Bellis, Downs, and Tyler Diblin suspended. Diblin was a player that I was worried that might be able to do something up against the Malo Gusto that hasn't been playing week in, week out. But yeah, man, on paper.
Have you read their injury list?
Nuts.
Yeah, injury list. Aaron Ramsdale, Adam Lallana, Ross Stewart, Will Smallbone, Gavin Bazunu, Paul Onuachu, don't know that one, Jan Bednarek, and Ugachukwu, who can't play obviously because he's ineligible, but he can't play nonetheless. So yeah, it's a side that's been rife through. I mean, you look at their sub players. God damn, who the hell have they got in? Who's that guy?
Who in the goddamn hell is that? To be honest. Ben Brereton Diaz, bruv. I swear I saw his name like 4 times last season. Never saw him again.
Yeah, Ben. You know, do you know? My mate was telling me about Ben Brereton. Apparently, he was just some championship striker. He was shy. Changed his last name to Brereton Diaz. Immediately sells for 20 million.
He reminds me of Roque Santa Cruz.
Well, imagine it was just Roque Cruz. It wouldn't feel as good.
It's just like, what is a man called Diaz doing playing for Southampton, bro? What is a man called Roque Santa Cruz doing playing for Blackburn? What is a man called Ben Brereton Diaz doing playing for Southampton, bro?
Yeah, do you know why? Have you heard Ben? Do you know Ben Brereton? Have you heard him speak, bro? He's from up north, man. He's just some normal English geezer.
I know. It's the worst case if you're expecting to go like, oh, you know, they do that. No, he's fucking northern cunt.
Yeah, he's proper northern cunt, bro. You can't just slap Diaz at the end of your name, bro. Like, I might just get my wife's last name and just be Shiley Santos. Pretend I'm Brazilian.
Diego Day would beg to differ with you, sunshine. You can do whatever the fuck you want on a fake ID.
Facts. Big facts.
All right, go on then. Give us before my penultimate, I want to introduce a little last minute segment to our previews. But before we do that, score predictions.
5-0. I've got it written down, 5-0. Mate. I'm going 5-0.
We're holding 5. You can hold it 5 even. Come on. I'm happy. What? Nkunku hat-trick?
Yeah, I'm going to go Nkunku hat-trick, Palmer, and then Disasi.
Yeah, I feel like this is a little Palmer stat pad game. If he gets like 4 assists
and then
let him take a penalty in the 85th minute, I feel like this is a stat pad game. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm as much as I've got this gut feeling, I'm going for 3-0 Chelsea. I think it's got to be another solid performance. I'm hoping for another solid team performance. It's just whether these guys that can do it in Europe can do it in the Prem. But a last little segment, Mr. C Money, and I'll let you take the reins on this. I would like to know what your picks are. I would like to know what you're thinking bet-wise for this game.
I've got 4 games and I've got 5 bets. First one, we've got Chelsea to win with Palmer to score assists. It's just an easy little quick one. It's not the craziest odds, but it's near enough to a lock as you get in football. Next, I've got Man City to beat Nottingham Forest. You're only getting the price you're getting them at because of the form that they're in. I'm also thinking Liverpool over Newcastle at even money, which I don't understand the odds of. I mean, with Liverpool in the form that they're in at the minute, Newcastle in the form that they're in at the minute, Newcastle are hemorrhaging goals, particularly when Sandro Tonali's not at it, and recently he's looked a little bit timid. So little sprinkle as well, Sandro Tonali to get a book in, I can see being a thing. But my favourite bet of the night is Arsenal and Man United, both teams to score. I love it. I think that there's no world that them teams play each other right now. You know, United with Ruben Amorim playing this really aggressive, forward-thinking football. They look a little bit leaky at the back. They look like they could do with a little bit of, their head screwed on. And I think Arsenal will capitalise, particularly players like Bukayo Saka who like to run in at players. So I can see him doing something, but I just think that in all worlds, both teams score every single day of the week. I've got all of those parlayed up. So Chelsea, Palmer, goal or assist, City, Liverpool, and both teams to score. 5 on it, 35 quid, £30 profit. Can't complain. I think that it's going to be free money tonight. We just need one of these to hit, and then I'll get all of you, man, running back every week, right? So let's go, man. Let's pray this one cashes.
Well, that's the goal, man. Introduce a nice little news segment, expand the channel in a way in which we're very comfortable already. Mr. C Money, if you're doubting the man's credentials, go and check out Mr. C Money Picks. He may specialize in the UFC and MMA, but this man has a gambling addiction. Listen, I am a man of addictions. I am a man of vices. This man gambles. This man spends his life savings in the casino. No, I'm joking, bro. Mr. C Money knows his stuff. So if you do want to continue on the betting stuff, at C Money Picks on the Instagram. But there you have it, man. 7-1 on that little ACCA. Go and do the little rewind if you want to hear the whole thing. But Cole Palmer to score assist. Arsenal, Man United, both teams to score. Liverpool to beat Newcastle. And there was someone else in there, but I can't exactly remember who. But 7-1, not bad. Who do you bet with as well? What platform is this on?
Me and Bet365 have had problems, so I've had to leave and go to Paddy Power.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Oh, I'm still a Bet365 man. But
365 booted me for being too good, bro.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
They said you man got a chill. I won like a bag, and they were like, yeah, you can leave now, bro. But I've still got 20 quid in that account. And
you want it off a free. You want it off a free bet, innit? You were just accumulating in free bets, and you fucking took their pants down, and they were like, "No, this cunt."
I took a 5p and I turned it into a bill, and I slapped that bill on something, made it 2 bill, and I basically acted it up to $1,000 and withdrew it. And they were like, "You're gonna do that again, bro?" And they banned me, so I can't jump on. I'm trying to jump on now and show you, but it's just not acknowledging my life.
It is what it is. But yeah, you heard it here first. If that bet, I'll be the first to confirm or deny whether that bet came in on the live match reaction. What you say, bro?
Sorry, they were asking me for a picture. I've just logged on. They're asking me for a picture of my passport now to verify who I am. Shut up, man. Not getting that, man.
It's going to be banned from every single betting account by the end of today. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. All right, 15 minutes till kickoff. Let's get the fuck locked in, guys. Appreciate everybody that's watched so far. Abdi, I see you in the comments, my guy. Smoked In Podcast. Go and follow that up as well. Abdi reckons Southampton get a goal. Listen, if you don't back we didn't say Chelsea to nil.
Exactly. You can't say that.
Chelsea, both teams to score. Chelsea to win, both teams to score. That's always a pretty safe bet, to be honest. If you place that 38 games in a year, you're gonna make your money back more often than not.
Unless it's at home.
Well, there you go. Yeah, but how often? That was the first clean sheet we've kept at home in a year. There you go. Proves our point. Bet both teams to score is virtually nigh on impossible to lose for Chelsea. But yeah, man, you heard it here first. Go back and do a little rewind if you want to see those bets. Make sure to get your score predictions in the comments. This is a live episode, so make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. We'll be going live at the final whistle. Do not miss it. As soon as the final whistle goes on the Chelsea game, come here, man. The link is in our bio on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us at Two Blues Podcast on those two platforms. But until then, up to Chelsea.